So, Derbyites, we're Paul Sheehan, executive editor of Gold Derby, and I'm here with two men that you have to listen to, Jason Osiason and Adam Norbury. These are the guys, more than half my age each, combined age is less than mine, that they beat me and everyone else when it came to predicting the Oscar nominations. Jason, I think you got 82%?
83.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do you out of that, because that 1% is the difference with Adam, right? You're at 82%, Adam, and I was at a lowly 79%. So Jason, we got to come to you first, and how did you do this? I mean, 83% across the board. I mean, that's astounding.
Lots of research.
Uh-huh.
I basically go right when the Oscars end, I start again. I just follow I follow months in advance all the potential films I could hit, and I attend film festivals. I do a lot of research on the films, like who's behind it. I think focusing on when you're doing predictions, you should focus on the guilds first of all, because of how closely they match up. And I think BAFTA is actually a really good indicator.
Hey, Jason, just if you could move your computer a little bit, you're kind of slipping out of frame.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there. We want to see you as well as hear you, all your insights. And then, Adam, do you sort of, I know you and Jason are friends from the forums and from other sites. Do you follow his path? Are you doing that same sort of?
Basically, yeah, the same thing. Like, I already know I've looked into stuff for next year, 2017 Oscars, kind of like making preliminary lists and following Sundance and seeing what possibly come out of there. Like this year we had Brooklyn, so there'll probably be one film from there. So just a lot of research.
And in fact, I mean, this is, these are university students, and yet Adam is going to go up to Sundance this weekend, maybe see.
I'll try, try to see some.
Birth of a Nation, I think they're already talking about for next year. So, Jason, was there just when nominations morning, you get up early, you're watching, was there one category that you were nervous about that you end up nailing?
Documentary.
Okay.
I couldn't believe I got that, 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. So how did you know? I mean, there were certain ones that we were all expecting to be nominated and they weren't. How did you get 5 out of 5?
Well, Amy, Look Up Silence, and Cartel Land were givens because they were the front runners by far. And then I thought Netflix, you should just focus on Netflix because of how well they've been doing lately. So I predicted both of their movies. I ended up getting them.
And Jason, do you remember? Sorry, Adam, excuse me. Do you remember how you did in documentary?
Yeah, I got 4 out of 5. I had the 3 you mentioned, Look of Silence, Amy, Cartel Land, and I had one of the other ones, What Happened, Miss Simone, just because I know Oscar, especially recently, have done so well with like music documentaries. I thought that was a pretty good pick, but I had Hunting Ground as my 5th, so I didn't. What was the 5th one again? I forgot.
It was the other Netflix movie, Winter on Fire.
Oh, yeah, Winter on Fire.
And I really give you credit, Jason, because that wasn't that well reviewed. I mean, it was respectable.
It had pretty good reviews. I think it had like a 78 on Metacritic.
Yeah, but some of these ones that didn't get nominated had in the 90s. So
yeah, I just thought Netflix is pretty good at doing campaigns for their documentaries, and just don't doubt them. And it ended up working out.
Go ahead.
Did Winter on Fire hit any precursors? I don't remember. Did it get BAFTA or something?
No, I remember What Happens, Miss Simone hit DGA, so I definitely wanted to predict that before Winter on Fire for sure.
Right.
But
yeah. What about if we go back to the top of the list, Best Picture? Was there like Carol not getting in? Were you both predicting? Like, because we had the luxury of having 10. Was Carol in your 10, say?
Yeah, it was. I had it like at 7.
Wow.
I think I had it. I mean, on Gold Derby, I had it high up because I locked my predictions early December. But in my more updated predictions, I think it was 7 or 6.
Now, did you forget to come back to us, or you just decided not to tinker with them anymore?
No, I decided not to tinker with anymore because I had locked it in with Big Short still having 101 odds, 100 to 1 odds. So
listen to this. Oh, that's great.
So And so the other ones I had were Inside Out and Carol. And even though I was kind of wanting to predict Straight Outta Compton getting in, I figured it would just be like 9 or 8 with not 8, 9 if Carol got in or the other 8. So
you didn't have room in your top 10.
No, I had room in my top 10. I went at 8 out of 8. Room was
okay. Wow.
Inside Out and Carol were the other 2 I had.
Yeah. I was a Straight Outta Compton, and I even was holding out hope for Star Wars. Now, did either of you have a prediction that you sort of were like me with Star Wars, where you just wanted it to happen, so you thought, what the heck, or did you? There's no emotion in this, and you do this very passionate. Without passion. Jason, I mean, did you?
Maybe a little bit with Carol because of how passionate I am about the movie.
Oh, okay.
I was really holding out for a Todd Haynes nomination, and I thought since he got a nomination at BAFTA, it could happen.
Uh-huh.
I knew he was never going to hit DGA because Carol is not really a guild thing, but didn't end up happening.
And what about you, Adam? What about you, Adam? Was there any that you went?
Ones that I ended up predicting, probably just Vikander for Ex Machina instead of Danish Girl.
Okay.
But I knew it was going to be one of the 2. I just went wrong on the Gold Derby.
Now, speaking of Alicia Vikander, did either of you think that either of them was going to end up in lead, Alicia or Rooney Mara?
No, because I was on someone went over the BAFTA rules and said how BAFTA is versus the Academy. It's very unlikely it would happen. I forget how. Adam, do you remember how it went?
And I know like just one of the cited things is obviously Steve Carell was supporting in BAFTA last year and lead for Oscar.
But it was how the voting goes. All the votes from lead go to supporting at BAFTA.
I don't know.
Get nominated.
I don't know anything about that.
Went over the rules, and I dropped it after I read that.
and actually, we've been sort of jumped right into this, and I didn't really give a chance to. I mean, you two are both students, and I'm really curious. Like, how did you come to this? How did you come to want to predict the Oscars and other award shows? I mean, was it, what's your first, did you watch the Oscars when you were little and become enamored with them? Or Jason, how did you come to this?
I've been watching it since I was like 8 years old. And I started predicting probably, not on Gold Derby. This is my first year actually trying out Gold Derby, but
rookie to show us up. I mean, that makes it even worse.
I've been doing contests on other forums, like predicting, and I've done really well in the past. So I wanted to give Gold Derby a try this year.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's say it was beginner's luck then, right? I mean, I'm going to go with that. And Adam, I mean, you're a sophomore, as you said. I mean, so you were the same way, were you? Starting to watch the Oscars when you were?
I mean, yeah, I probably watched it much. I think kind of predicting came along with just kind of a budding interest in movies, like once I started high school 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And I know there was predicting on a forum unrelated to movies, unrelated to predictions, but one that still someone put up a contest, and I did that for like 2 or 3 years before I discovered Gold Derby and some other sites.
And then I see behind you, you've got all these movie posters.
It's kind of just the benefit from working at a movie theater, in the only independent theater we have in the Phoenix area too. So we kind of give out the posters.
Oh, okay. And then is that Halle Berry in 2 of them or not? Is that?
What? No, there's Juliette Binoche and Kristen Stewart and Claudia Sils Maria. There's The Assassin, Inside Out, Sicario, and the Apu trilogy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that it was like Halle Berry.
They're all in front of me, but like there's a mirror behind me, obviously.
Okay. Well, so now the nominations, they're behind us now. It starts all over again with now you've got to show that you. I think do you think it's easier or harder to predict the winners, Jason? I mean, where do you?
Predicting the winners?
Yeah.
I did pretty. It's not that difficult, I don't think. The hard categories are the shorts. You have to do a lot of research and actually watch them sometimes.
Now they do screen them, right? There's a program called The Shorts. Will that play at the theater that you work at, Adam, do you think? Or
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I'll get the chance to see them, but I don't know. But I know they are playing them there. I think maybe starting this weekend, actually.
yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just the research and knowing, like also because now they've opened up, just in the last couple of years, all the categories to all the members. Like
you
now,
have to put that in consideration.
For the winners.
And that's what's interesting about the Miss Simone in the documentary race and getting in, because that, of course, is just the documentary branch. I wasn't predicting it for the nomination, but now that it's in the race, do you think perhaps that could even beat Amy?
Yeah, it's a sentimental documentary, so I think it's probably the alternate, but Amy probably has this. It's just too far ahead. It's been winning everything.
Okay.
Kind of like the equivalent of Samsung.
I think Amy is a pretty clear front runner anyway. I would never risk, at least, predicting anything else.
Okay. Yeah. So, Adam, you mentioned locking in your predictions because The Big Short was at 100 to 1. And we were talking, some of us at Gold Derby, just earlier today about this. The fact that last year, if you look at when we launched our prediction center in August, Birdman didn't even really register. And then A Big Short, of course, got dropped into the race. We found it, I guess, in mid to late October that Paramount was going to release it this year. We've got the SAG Awards coming up this weekend. Are either of you predicting Big Short to, say, win Best Ensemble?
Yeah, I am, at least. I think I just made that change on the Gold Derby site a few hours ago.
And Jason?
Yeah, I made that change right after it won PGA. Okay.
Now, does that extend to, what are you predicting to win Best Picture at the Oscars today, Wednesday, January 27th at 4:53 Pacific time, just so everyone knows they can change their minds at will?
Big Short for sure.
Big Short for sure. Okay.
I think I'm still sticking with Spotlight. Big Short's definitely the alternate, not Revenant anymore, even after its Golden Globe win. But I don't know. I think it's really tough. But I'm sticking with Spotlight for now. Whether it changes by the time the ceremonies happen, I don't know.
Now, I think, Adam, when I was reading a little bit of your bio, you're studying. It's not statistics, but you do a lot of data analysis, don't you? And what you're studying?
Yeah, economics, and I'm just now adding a data analytics double major. But I haven't taken classes for it yet.
So do you read, like, that preferential ballot for Best Picture? Have you read about that? Do you feel like you have a handle on how that actually, the counting happens for the Best Picture winner?
Yeah, I've read up, especially for because the nomination process, I think, is even more complicated. And I read a lot about that because I was trying to explain it to someone who didn't quite understand it. And I wanted to make sure I understood it perfectly as well. And I've read up on how they do the winner bracket as well.
Yeah. You could have been talking to pretty much any Oscar voter because they don't understand it at all. So, Jason, do you think that the preferential ballot for the winner is making a difference in the kinds of movies that are winning and that we're seeing maybe, like, for instance, you're saying The Big Short for sure for Best Picture.
Just because of its overall strength and its real-world resonance.
Yeah, but are you predicting Adam Mckay for Best Director?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay,
yeah.
You've got those two going together. What about you, Adam? Do you have Mckay winning director? You've got Spotlight. Do you have Tom McCarthy winning director?
I do, actually.
Okay.
So I think the thing that will the only thing that I think that might make me change is if if Big Short gets SOG Ensemble and Mckay wins director at DGA. Then I'll definitely go Big Short for both of those.
Because I'm thinking, and I didn't do 83 or 82. I got 79. So I was the best among the so-called experts. I was thinking that we might see a split between picture and director, just because of the goofy way they count picture, and that we might see somebody like Inarritu win director, or even George Miller. But neither of you is thinking that. I'm curious with the nomination count, Revenant doing so well with 12, Mad Max. Do you have one of the two of those dominating in the tech categories? Jason, do you think one or the other will sweep, or how do you see those playing
Mad Max sort of sweeping. Yeah. Like maybe Revenant could take a sound, but I think for the most part, Mad Max will probably sweep most of the text.
And what about you, Adam?
I have Mad Max for most of the text. Not editing or not costume design, but I think for all the other text that
in cinematography, Revenant too, for sure.
Oh yeah, I have Revenant for cinematography as well.
Yeah, that just seems like it's kind of got his name written on it from the time we heard about it. It just seems to be, and to have done 3 such different films. I mean, it's kind of an amazing achievement. Okay, so you're both saying Big Short for picture.
I'm still Spotlight.
Oh, sorry. Adam, I keep trying to get you to change it, and it's not even 100 to 1. So I'm not. There's no benefit for. I'm saying Big Short. I switched from Spotlight to Big Short because of PGA. Best actor? I think, are we all saying DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Okay. And best actress? I'm curious because there's some people that aren't saying Brie Larson. Adam?
I think Brie Larson's the favorite. I mean, Ronan could happen, or even like Rampling in the weirdest way, but I think it's Larson locked, like 99%, almost 100%.
And Jason, you're the same?
Yeah, and Room overperformed at the nominations, so
yes.
I just think it just puts her clearly ahead.
That's a good point too.
And of course, obviously, if something different happens at SAG, like we saw Eddie Redmayne win SAG last year, and that changed that race dramatically. Here's a toughie, at least for me, and this is where I'm totally just going to steal your thoughts. Supporting actor. Because Stallone's not nominated for anything from now till the Oscars, So who do you think is going to win at SAG, Jason? Supporting actor.
SAG, I've had Bale for a while. I think he's a huge movie star. It's an eccentric role. Like Rylance, he's hit all the precursors. He's in his films the top 2, probably favorite to win. So I think he'll edge out Rylance, but Rylance could maybe take BAFTA.
Okay, and what do you think, Adam?
I'm thinking Bale too. I think Rylance could definitely happen, but I definitely think it's one of those two. But I'm edging on Bale right now for SAG.
And then what about at the Academy Awards?
Stallone.
Stallone, okay, and Adam?
Yeah, I have Stallone as well.
Okay. Just the sentimental kind of aspect of it.
Yeah, and he's campaigning. Everyone else isn't.
Yeah, and I think a lot of my sway for predicting him for sure is the just that standing ovation he got at the Golden Globes when he won. Similar will happen at the Oscars.
Yeah, everyone just wants him to win.
Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, I think the hard part for him was probably getting the nomination.
Yeah.
Because that's the 1,200 actors. Now he's got to win over the 6,000 voters. Many of whom I know there's been a lot in the press, but gosh. I think some of these voters today probably voted for Rocky as Best Picture 40 years ago. So.
Yeah, that, and then he also had like the rare combo of only landing Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. Right. Yet he prevailed, getting a nomination. So I just think that's a big deal to consider too.
Right. Now, supporting actress, Adam, do you think that Alicia will win for Danish Girl in supporting actress?
I do, even though. Like the movie hasn't been super well received, and she's been winning more for Ex Machina. I think she's gonna win over Winslet, O'Mara, or anyone else. Kind of, in part because she's had such a landmark year with Ex Machina and all the other films she's been in.
And what about you, Jason?
Yeah, pretty much the same. But I'm not very confident about it. But I'd say she's the favorite by default. There's just no clear front runner.
Well, we were talking today about Kate Winslet, and that Kate Winslet maybe could win at SAG and then parlay that into an Oscar. Is that just us silly experts thinking way too much about this stuff?
It's possible. I'm trying not to overthink the Golden Globe win.
Right.
Star power, I feel got her the win, and how much they loved Steve Jobs, which didn't really pan out at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure her role is typical of a winner, but she's beloved, so it's possible.
Yeah. Okay. It took her a long time to win an Oscar. It is kind of interesting that it took her until her 6th nomination to finally win. So if she got another one, I guess this is her first nomination since then. So,
Yeah.
Now, we talked about director. Okay, so you guys are going with Spotlight and with Big Short, respectively, because you're voting those for Best Picture. And then are we thinking along the lines that Spotlight gets original screenplay, Big Short gets adapted screenplay? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then all those tech awards. We were talking about the nomination contest earlier, and so one of the places I tripped up on was song, and I did not expect the Bond song to get nominated because I didn't think anyone liked it.
I thought originally.
What's that, Jason?
That's what I thought originally too.
Now, did you then predict that it was going to get nominated?
I ended up listening to it for the first time, and I'm like, yeah, people can possibly like that.
So, but what do you think? Do you think the Lady Gaga song will win, or? Yeah.
Her performance at the PGA kind of sealed it.
Wasn't that smart on the part of the producers to do that? Yeah. What about you, Adam? Or what?
I have it winning. I honestly didn't even know she performed the PGA. I didn't read that, so I missed out on that. But I still have Till It Happens to You for winning for that, just because honestly I can't really see anything else winning. I mean, I know Spectre or Writings on the Wall won at Golden Globes, but the lineup there isn't too strong to make that automatically predict as my win. So
now, of course, the songwriters never won. Lady Gaga aside, Diane Warren. Do you ever think that Oscars vote sentimentally? Do you think that if they start being aware that somebody hasn't won, does that influence?
For sure. Historically, at least.
I'd say in most categories, but maybe not the text. Like, I don't think Desplat won last year because they just wanted to reward him. They vote because his name's not listed on the ballot. The film is.
That's right. That's a great insight. Isn't that something we talk about this, and it's probably new to some people. The fact that all those categories don't list the actual nominees. I don't understand why not. It seems.
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't it seem like it's not paying due homage to these people that have? I mean, they worked very hard on the film and they got a nomination. Why would you not list their names? And I think that explains how some people never win, because people don't realize that it's this sound editor or that visual effects person. It's fascinating stuff. What and then we talked about foreign language film. I'm assuming Son of Saul, or am I assuming wrong?
Yeah, definitely Son of Saul.
So now it seems like a lot of people are going to do well in terms of predicting a lot of these races if they go. I mean, maybe Big Short and Spotlight will get a clearer sense in the next few weeks. And of course, Oscar voting doesn't even start until I think it's February 11th, and runs for a couple of weeks. So we'll have seen everything. The guilds will all have chimed in by the time voting's over. So does it come down to the 3 shorts? Is that what's going to make the difference about who wins our prediction contest?
Yeah, usually does.
I mean, is there anything else that's really tossed up besides the shorts and picture director?
This year, I'd say maybe editing, because...
Oh, I forgot that one. Excuse me. Yes.
You have Mad Max and Big Short, which are both really showy achievements. And you have Big Short, which could be the Best Picture winner, and it has showy editing. And you have Mad Max, which is also a top 5 picture.
Do you have Big Short winning that right now, Jason?
Right now, I do. I was thinking back to Whiplash.
Hey, we're losing you again, Jason. You're falling.
Sorry. I know.
Are you sitting on some kind of a beanbag or something?
I'm on a couch,
okay.
So I don't have a desk in my apartment.
Okay. We talked a lot about predicting the nominees, predicting the winners. I'm just going to throw this out about predicting the shows. So in the sense of, what is Chris Rock going to do in those first few minutes? I mean, is it something? Do you have any are you looking forward to it, or are you sort of ready to cringe at how he goes on the attack mode?
I guess I'll go first. I mean, yeah, it could be definitely both. But it'll definitely be talked about and talked about a lot. And hopefully it's done in more of a joking manner. I mean, I know it's a serious issue, but I don't want it to, like, the whole ceremony to turn into a cringe fest. I just want it to stay the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, and Jason, what do you, I mean, are you, I mean, I think he hosted 11 years ago, so probably neither of you, if you saw it, don't remember it.
Yeah, I remember it.
I didn't.
I remember watching that one. It'll be fun. Interesting.
It just seems, it struck me as back then, because of course I've been watching the Oscars for more than 40 years, it struck me that he didn't particularly like the Academy. Like, he wasn't sort of like, yay, you know, I'm a big fan. Like, Whoopi Goldberg is a huge fan of the Oscars and of the movie industry. You know, she won that Oscar, and she looked out on that audience and said, you're who I wanted to be. That's who I looked up to. And she hosted 4 times, you know, in the 90s, but really wanted to be there. And it just seems with Chris Rock, that's not his thing, that he's not this super, like, he doesn't have to be a super fan, but just even a fan. Do you, you know, there's always talk about, oh, we should drop this or drop that. I mean, are you, the shorts, for instance, do you like seeing them on the show because you probably want to know whether you got your predictions right? But does any of that, as watching the show, does it take away from it that all, you know, 24 awards being presented? Jason, do you, or you'd love it? You love it.
I love it. I love it. Everything.
More.
Probably because I predict.
Yeah.
Really invested into everything.
And what about you, Adam? Is it? Do you wish they got to the awards faster, or?
No, I mean, and I think as long as they do have the short awards, they should definitely be televised. I don't like how, say, that for the Grammys, for example, they only televise like the select few. I mean, if you're winning I know it makes sense because they have hundreds of awards, but if you're giving someone an award and it's a televised event, I think your awards acceptance or whatever should be televised.
Well, and that's always struck me, that so much time in these shows, whether it's the little patter between the presenters or film clips, and then these winners are, you know, the gallop down to the stage, and then the 30 seconds and the light is flashing, and that's why I watch. I mean, I want to see. I mean, I remember, I don't know what she won for, but I remember somebody won, I think, for like a live action short, and she talked about the fact that her dress cost more than it did to make her film. You know, those kinds of things. Those are great moments. And then I guess that we'll have the musical performances, so we'll see all the songs, and yeah, I think it's fun. And do you think that, you know, you like predicting, but do you think that all of these awards take away from the Oscars at all because there is less suspense? Jason?
What do you mean?
Like you know, there's some awards fatigue. The idea that, you know,
too many.
Well, yeah, we've seen, say, Brie Larson win the Globe, win Critics' Choice, win at SAG, win at BAFTA. That it's sort of hard. It's hard to get excited about seeing her yet again.
Excites me. It's exciting for me. But
okay.
It's memorable. You look back when you look back, you don't look back at her Golden Globe. You won't look back at her Golden Globe win. You'll look back at her Oscar win. It's just history.
Yeah, and it really is, isn't it? It's. I think that's the thing about it. It's the years ago they were, and I don't know if either of you do this, but if you go on YouTube and the Oscars channel, they have tons of acceptance speeches and opening ceremonies from before you were born. But Maggie Smith, back in the 70s, she won an Oscar for a film in which she played an Oscar nominee who lost, but she was backstage and talking and saying that the Oscar is the one award that everyone around the world knows. She's got theater awards, she's got Emmys, but nobody, the one they know is the Oscars. It is that gold standard. Well, listen, this has been really great, and what I'd love to be able to do is we could do this again much closer to the Oscars, just to see if you guys have changed your mind about anything. I'd love to, and to maybe get your thoughts on what's happened at SAG, at DGA, at the various guilds. I think that would be a lot of fun. So hopefully we can do that. And because I really, my whole goal in doing this is just to steal your predictions, just so we're clear about that. I mean, I'll let you guys be the best overall. I just need to be the best expert, in quotation marks. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
All right. Take care.